What's good with it, y'all? It's Coffee, back with an update into the Young Thug Rico case, man. YSL. Only a few took it to trial with Thugger. You know, everyone else took them pleas, man. And we seen this case is super messy. A lot of people out there think it's a stretch for them to try to tie this all to Thugger as the godfather, the leader of this criminal enterprise. And we saw the other day, you know, it was crazy, man. Jurors were getting exposed on camera, and you're going to see in this video that extends to a witness that they're trying to protect as well. But check it out, man. They're trying to go all the way back to 2013 and tie this seemingly random carjacking to Thug and YSL. Check it out.
We're hearing testimony about one of the alleged crimes that led to the YSL RICO trial. A 2013 carjacking victim took the stand today. Atlanta News First reporter Rachel Aragon live tonight outside of the Fulton County Courthouse.
And Rachel, prosecutors tried to link the seemingly random act of violence to the gang rapper. Young Thug is accused of co-founding.
Correct. Earlier today, prosecutors arguing that this 2013 carjacking they say was carried out by members of the Young Slime Life gang. Defense attorneys, though, obviously argue otherwise. They say there is no gang connection to such crime.
I stopped at the stop sign and I felt someone hit me.
On the fourth day of the YSL trial, prosecutors called their second witness, Melissa Rosser, who recalls being carjacked after leaving work in 2013. A crime prosecutors argue was carried out by members of the Young Slime Life gang.
One of the beat officers let us know that he located the vehicle.
The other witness to take the stand Thursday, Atlanta Police Captain Reginald Pettis. The judge asking the captain not be filmed, but allowing his voice to be recorded in court.
The suspect's name is Mr. Trontavious Stevens.
Pettis testifying Stevens was arrested in connection to the carjacking incident. Trontavious Stevens reached a plea deal in the case in December 2022, acknowledging he was one of YSL's founding members. Prosecutors have argued YSL is not just a record label, as the defense claims, but also a criminal street gang.
Before coming in here to testify,
during cross-examination, defense attorney Keith Adams questioning why Captain Pettis did not mention gang signs in his report related to the carjacking incident.
This is the first time, right, that you're mentioning anything about gang signs that you saw when you were brought in here to testify in this quote gang case, right?
yes.
What was the gang sign you saw being thrown up that day?
No idea.
No idea.
None.
Man, that's pretty fucking crazy that you heard the attorney questioning that officer that did this police report. Again, a carjacking from all the way back in 2013. He says just now, from 10 years ago, you're saying you saw gang signs after this happened, after these two dudes carjacked this stripper. You seen her stripper turned house mom. I don't know why they had to throw that in there. Like, oh, she bettered her life. She ain't a stripper no more. But she left the Pink Pony and was on her way home to some subdivision when she was rear-ended. They hit her with the old okey doke, rear-ended her. And when she was like, man, what happened? Another dude got out, gunpoint, stole the car. And later, Trontavious Stevens, who you see they say, I believe Stevens himself has referenced himself as a founding member of YSL, was arrested for this carjacking. And the way they're trying to link this specific crime is because he said he's a founder, and this guy is one of the dudes who took that plea. And I still see, as I did a video the other day about the whole Big U thing with the, you know, as WAC 100 is now coming out and saying, yo, look at this dude from 60s turned on Big U because he knows a RICO is coming and, you know, he wants no part of it. And Big U's working off a RICO, which seems kind of wild, man, right? Because like someone pointed it out, another content creator, how the fuck you know a RICO's coming before it comes? It doesn't really seem to make sense, but it's a whole nother discussion, a whole nother situation. But, you know, his involvement with Gunna continues to bring up the debate about Gunna, where a lot of people say he didn't snitch. But in a situation like this Trontavious Stevens guy, however you say his name, self-admitted founding member of YSL, took this plea that Gunna and a rest of other individuals took, where they said that this is a gang as well as a record label. But the part that everyone is continuing to forget is in conjunction with that deal, they have to come back and testify if called on and please the court with their testimony. Like, they can't play no games. And if they don't, that deal can get pulled out from under them. You know what I'm saying? They get, like, so in a situation like this, it'll be interesting to see if we see Stevens put on the stand to talk about this particular crime that he committed and how it was for YSL. And, you know, it's crazy, man. But I just find that to be ludicrous how dude didn't see the gang signs back then, but now he remembers it or whatever. And when asked what gang signs, he said no idea. To me, that sounds like he's lying right there on the stand. That seems ludicrous, man. But another clip I want to share with y'all is another individual who is specifically testifying about YSL, its history, how it's a street gang, and things to that extent.
Explosive day in court for jurors hearing testimony in the YSL trial.
Today, a judge ruled you will only be able to hear instead of see testimony from a particular witness. The ruling followed an elongated process. Prosecutors trying to prove YSL is a gang. Defense attorneys for rapper Young Thug argue otherwise. Atlanta News First reporter Rachel Aragon live tonight outside of the Fulton County Courthouse.
And Rachel, walk us and everyone at home through what happened today, prompting the judge's ruling.
Yeah, just about 30 minutes ago, we heard from Judge Glanville. He tells us that a poll camera of a different media outlet inadvertently showed the faces of several jurors in the courtroom earlier today. Because of that very reason, showing those faces, he's asking us now to not show the face of the very first witness testifying in this trial. That's an Atlanta police detective, but he did say the audio of his is good to show. Is YSL a gang or a record label? While defense attorneys claim it's a record label, prosecutors allege it's a gang known as Young Slime Life. They allege Young Thug, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, is its leader.
Criminal gang members really define respect more, honestly, as being feared.
The first witness called to testify for the state, Mark Belknap, an Atlanta police detective who works in the agency's gang unit. Belknap, a court-certified gang expert in this case, testifying on everything from gang communication to gang culture.
Criminal gang members really define respect more, honestly, as being feared.
Prosecutors claim the alleged criminal group began as Rock Crew, which stands for Raised on Cleveland.
The gang Raised on Cleveland, we began observing in the Cleveland Avenue area.
The state claims sometime in 2012, an internal rift among its members led to the creation of YSL. Belknap claims to have observed the group's evolution as an investigator on the streets of Atlanta.
We've identified over 100 members and associates as of the present time. They were based in the same area as the previous Rock Crew, and in fact, what we discovered was many of the members now claiming to be YSL actually had previously claimed to be members of Rock Crew.
Earlier this week, defense attorneys for some of the co-defendants on trial telling the jury their clients' actions had nothing to do with organized crime.
We're not hiding from the past, but the evidence will show that Shannon's decisions starting over 10 years ago had nothing to do with YSL or any other organization.
In late 2012, we've identified over 100 members and associates as of the present time. They were based in the same area as the previous Rock Crew, and in fact, what we discovered was many of the members now claiming to be YSL actually had previously claimed to be members of Rock Crew.
Right. Now, did this group called Young Slime Life, did it consist of 3 or more members?
It did.
Would you tell the jury whether or not there were any other indicators about this group that would qualify it as a criminal street gang?
Yes, Your Honor.
Basis.
Beyond the ken. It's not beyond the ken of the jury.
All right, overruled. I believe we can advance the slide. We have a demonstrative. What we observed was that the group had a common name, which was Young Slime Life. Among the symbols that they used included wearing red bandanas, but also we saw the use of green bandanas. They used expressions like the word slat, which we discovered stood for slime life all the time, and they used that word slime in a variety of different ways. We saw people tattooing certain identifiers on their person, including the letters YSL, the phrase slime life, and also using 5-point stars and red accents in some of those tattoos. Graffiti was similar identifiers, but seeing that tagged in the community. Their attire, again, using those gang flags or gang bandanas in red or green colors, and also custom clothing around the idea of slime. And we also saw them using other distinguishing characteristics, like using snakes, lizards, including emojis of snakes on social media. Some members refer to the group as Rudy Gang. That refers to a gang member who was shot and killed in 2016. And his nickname was Rudy. And we also saw them using other blood gang identifiers, specifically often those associated with the Sex Money Murder Bloods.
Were there any crimes that you observed or that were investigated that were committed by members of Young Limelight in furtherance of the group itself?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you talk to the jury a little bit about those types of crimes and the types of crimes that were investigated?
John, I same objection as to irrelevant to Mr. Williams and what the
All right.
I'm over with objections.
You may talk about it.
So as we've discussed already, and what we saw as continued activity was predominantly narcotic sales in the Cleveland Avenue area, the narcotic sales and distribution. We also saw armed robberies, we saw shootings, we've seen murders, auto thefts, burglaries. We did see some ATM thefts and other things of that nature.
We seen in another case that went on recently how they have these gang specialists, and you hear this guy breaking down the whole history, raised on Cleveland, the red rags and the green rags, slime life all the time. This is in social media posts. He's talking about clothing, tattoos, social media posts, music, lyrics, everything. They saw narcotic sales going down in the Cleveland area. Again, they're trying to tie this all to the history of YSL and say it's this gang and this criminal enterprise. The more this case carries on and the more messy that it is, I just sit here and wonder how it's totally up in the air. Like with Young Thug, I really don't know what to think. I like to feel like he has a good chance at beating this thing, but then I don't know. You know what I mean? You hear the court testimony, you see everything playing out. I want to know what you think in the comments. What do you think about this case or this particular incident in pertaining to this case, this old carjacking, the gang signs that the detective says were thrown up back after he arrested this dude or whatever? What do you think about all this? Like, this is just crazy. Will Thugger be found guilty or not? We'll have to keep watching the case. But so far, it just seems so iffy to me, so up in the air, and again, so messy. Jurors and witnesses being exposed on camera. Like, it only makes sense with this case that seems to be a bit of a 3-ring circus for Ish to be like that, man. But that's about all I got for now. Again, don't forget that all them dudes that took that plea have the stipulation that they have to come testify, and I think that's really gonna be the real meat and potatoes pause of this case, is if and when they call those individuals back. Like with Gunna's plea, there was a lot of talk about if they call him back, he'll have to testify, but they probably won't do it. I saw media outlets printing something to that extent. Then why would they have that stipulation on the plea? Why did they have so many of these dudes plea out and have that as part of the plea bargain while implicating the gang and the label as a criminal enterprise? Or I'm sorry, as a gang and criminal enterprise. I feel like they definitely are going to have to call these dudes up, and they will. And that's where Ish is going to get spicy. I really wonder if they thought at that point that when Thug has seen everyone copping pleas, that he wouldn't take it to trial. And he didn't fold. He's standing tall, him as well as a few other individuals. What'll be the outcome? What do you think of everything we tapped in on this one? Let's talk about it. Subscribe. Stay tuned for more. It's Coffee, and I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.